Would you cheat on your wife if you're a husband? Or if you're a wife, would you cheat on your husband? I'm not asking if you have. I mean, who hasn't these days, right? I'm not asking you if you have. I'm asking if you still will. Or if you're someone who has never dreamed of doing that, nor would they. Maybe you're someone who just the thought of doing that to your husband or your wife turns your stomach. Maybe that's who you are. I definitely hope that you're not someone who has still would do such a thing. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 1. My son, listen to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so as to watch over discretion, and your lips guard knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of Sheol. She does not consider the path of life. Her ways are unstable. You do not know it. So now listen to me, you children, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not come near the door of her house, lest you give your splendor to others and your years to one who is cruel. Lest strangers be filled with your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. Then you shall howl in your latter end, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and shall say, how I have hated discipline, and my heart has despised reproof. And I have not heeded the voice of my teachers, and I have not inclined my ear to those who instructed me. In a little while I was in all evil, in the midst of an assembly and a congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, and running water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, rivers of water in the streets? Let them be only your own, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. A loving deer and a pleasant doe. Let her nipple satisfy you at all times, and be captivated by her love always. I think most of you should know where I'm going with this at this point. If you wanted to know what the deer mean in the movie Leave the World Behind, look no further than right here. Verse 19. That's exactly what them deer represent in that movie. Is that deer right there. And that doe. That buck and that doe. Now, maybe you might still be under the impression that what I just read, like, and what it says in like chapter 31 and of Proverbs, or 13, I think. Yeah, 13, maybe. About the virtuous woman. You're probably someone, because most people do, they put limitations on the Most High. They can't see the meaning to these words in Proverbs that we're reading. They can't see that it being any more than what they see it as. They can only see this correction of like a son on hanging up, being virtuous himself and staying away from the promiscuous lady's house, and staying away from that kind of lady. It does tell you that. It will guide you when you're a young child into, it will guide you, and it'd be the lamp to your feet when you're dealing with all that. But the Most High's thoughts are far above all that and us and anything else. What this world, what this society has produced, it's produced people who would cheat on their husband or on their wife. I mean, it's getting softer every day. There's no unity anywhere. We got all kinds of lip service, and if that's you, if you realize after I read these next few verses here in this Proverbs, and after I show you the things that I have to show you, hopefully you'll see that this is talking about the opposite of the wife of our youth. And what happens when you touch her, you die. Only in the wife of your youth and with loyalty to her can you survive what's coming. You're not going to survive if you're a part of anything else, and anything else is her. There's only one wife of our youth. Hopefully with understanding, you'll understand that we've all been duped, and it's not okay that that's the fact, that's how this world is. But you can't do nothing about what happened before. All you can do now is march forward to the wife of your youth. And she is a geographical location that you can physically go to. Watch the Most High right here in His Word explain this to you. Let Him sing this to you, would be the best way to put it. And you'll see that you can take, anything, if you're a Christian, if you're whoever you are, if you've been living your life and you tell people that you're going to heaven or that your rapture, whatever the expectation is, watch what this says about that. Watch what his word tells us about all of it. A loving deer and a pleasant doe. Let her nipples satisfy you at all times and be captivated by her love always. Just like all the rest of the word's been telling us. Everything has told us the same thing. For why should you say, my son, be captivated by a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a foreigner? For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahuwah, and he considers all his past. That's how he judges you. He knows if you want the wife of your youth or not. It's plain and simple. There's no mystery here. There's no like this ain't. It's master class moves on the chessboard. The Most High, yeah, he's got it like that. But it's so simple that anyone can see this, and there's no. This ain't like this big hard thing to work out in a mystery to know what you're expecting, to know what your end is, if you have an end, to know that you will have life or not. It's not that hard. All you have to do is do. You have to actually care about the wife of your youth. You can't just say that you do. It's plain and simple. For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahuwah, and he considers all his past. The wrong one is entrapped in his own crookedness, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He dies for lack of discipline, and in the greatness of his folly, he goes astray. My son, if you have become guarantor for your friend, have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, have been snared by the words of your own mouth, have been caught by the words of your mouth, do this at once, my son, and deliver yourself, for you have come into the hand of your friend. Go, humble yourself, and urge your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself like a gazelle, like a deer, from the hunter's hand, and like a bird from the hand of the trapper. If I know you've, with all the apocalyptic movies out there, I'm sure everyone who hears this will have had some thought of like that going down at some point in your lives. And if just pretend, humor me for a second, just imagine if you were in that sort of situation. You were in like a Walking Dead, like not zombies, but just like apocalyptic, and you were running for your life. And it was the end, and it was just chaos all around. Just imagine that. And just imagine if someone who was safe from all that, and they made it to wherever the movie's trying to get, whatever your imagination tells you have to go to. Just imagine if someone who found safety got a message to you and told you how to get to that same safety. What would you do to get to it, to find it? If I told you that there's a message inside of a book that's 500 miles away from you, in the middle of a pile, and you knew if you didn't get to that truth, that message, you were going to die within like a week. How bad, or how bad would you want to live? Would you do everything in your power to get to where that message is and find the truth to save your life so you don't die in a week? Wouldn't you drive those 500 miles and dig through the pile of whatever to find it, to find the truth? You would, wouldn't you? Especially if you have a family, if you're a husband or whatever, you're going to do it. Well, this word's going to show you that that is the kind of expectancy you can have. You can go find your way to your safety. You don't have to just take a guess and just hope for the best when you die or when all this happens. The Most High wouldn't create you and leave you hanging there like that. He gave us a refuge, a deliverance, and you have to take it. And watch him explain it right here in his word. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hunter's hand and like a bird from the hand of the trapper. Go to the ant, you lazy one. See her ways and be wise, which, having no commander, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer, gathers her food in the harvest. How long would you lie down, O lazy one? When do you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to lie down, and your poverty shall come like a prowler, and your need as an armed man. Your need as an armed man. A man of Baal, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth, winks with his eyes, shuffles his feet, points with his fingers. Perverseness is in his heart. Plotting evil at all times, he sends out strife. Therefore his calamity comes suddenly. Instantly he is broken, and there is no healing. These 6 matters Yahuwah hates, and 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands shedding innocent blood, a heart devising wicked schemes, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness breathing out lies, and one who causes strife among brothers. My son, watch over your father's command, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother. Bind them on your heart always, tie them around your neck. When you are walking about, it leads you. When you lie down, it guards you. And when you have woken up, it talks to you. For the command is a lamp, and the Torah a light, and reproofs of discipline a way of life, to guard you against an evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a strange woman. Do not desire her prettiness in your heart, neither let her captivate you with her eyelids. For because of a whore, one is brought to a crust of bread, and an adulteress hunts a precious life. A precious life. Would a man take fire to his bosom, and his garments not be burned? Would a man walk on hot coals, and his feet not be scorched? So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. None who touches her goes unpunished. None who touches her. Yes, if you're still thinking that this is only talking about a man sleeping with his neighbor's wife, yes, that it goes for that too. That's covered in this, what we're reading. But what you need to understand right now is that code that was buried 500 miles, it's right here. It's in your hand. It's on your screen. You're looking at it. You're hearing it. Because the Most High, He is master class. And if you don't believe it, you're not steadfast, you're done. You're a goner. But if you believe it, and you read it, and you see it, and you receive it, and you take heed to it, you can live. Every word is always all necessary. Every word must be considered and examined. Verse 26, for because of a whore, one is brought to a crust of bread. If you've ever wondered what that meant. The woman this is talking about overall that you need to be worried about right now, that's the whore of Babylon. And the image of the beast, all that stuff. One is brought to a crust of bread because of her, is because she's taken all the truth and zapped it out of the word and what you've heard. All things basically coming from church systems has been diluted so far that you're almost, it's almost time's up for you. And how you can know that, how you can know where we are in the timeline, is you can look at just the way things have went throughout the history of the word. Like, look what we are. He brought them, he brought Abraham out, Noah, all that, and then he brought the Egyptians, or brought them out of Egypt. The Yasharal out of Egypt. It's part of the Red Sea. Messiah came. All that stuff came. We're on the tail end of it, however you look at it. And you can see it all around you. You can see the build up. You know what's coming. You see what's coming. And it was made that way. It was built up, with anticipation this whole time. And everything that you've seen, everything about this world has been, it's been launched into motion to get it to the point to where we are. If any church or anything affiliated with any kind of preaching or anything like that, if they aren't to a point to where they're telling you that you must find out about the wife of your youth, and not just straight up commit adultery up and down the block in front of everybody. I mean, if that's you, you're not who you say you are. But you can change that if you return. Come and return to the wife of your youth. An adulteress hunts a precious life. Your life is precious. Would a man take fire to his bosom and his garments not be burned? Would a man walk on hot coals and his feet not be scorched? So is he who goes in to his neighbor's wife. None who touches her goes unpunished. None who touches her. You want to know who your neighbor was? Your neighbor was Babylon. Yeah. She was your neighbor. And before, when your ancestors, if you are who you say you are, your ancestors were in Yasharal, Yehuda, living and going to Yerushalayim, the wife of their youth. And they were doing what's right. They had a home, a kingdom. They were kings and queens. And Babylon, around the way, the neighbor, we end up committing adultery with her. Yeah, that's what happened. And it ain't ever stopped. It's only increased. So bad that we completely forgot about our home and our kingdom. And it's just talk now. But no walk. You don't see anyone putting their money where their mouth is and actually walking the walk, not just talking the talk. So anyone who touches her, it doesn't matter how much you like it. It doesn't matter if you're doing it and you're being held against your will and you're still a part of it and you're touching her. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're touching her, and you must escape. So no one touches her. Anyone who touches her will not go unpunished. They do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his appetite when he is starving. Yet if he is caught, he repays sevenfold. He gives all the wealth of his house. He who commits adultery with a woman lacks heart. He who does it destroys his own life. He finds smiting and shame, and his reproach is not wiped away. For jealousy enrages a man, and he does not spare in the day of vengeance. He does not regard any ransom, nor accept your bribe, however great. It doesn't matter. And you know who the jealous man is here in verse 34, right? For jealousy enrages a man. That's Abba. And he does not spare in the day of vengeance. Just like, hopefully, you're someone that would not cheat on your husband or your wife, and you couldn't imagine doing that to him because that's your wife or your husband. And not just that, it's because you're a part of a family, of a unit. And the only way to keep that unit established on a firm foundation to where it cannot be destroyed, there cannot be adultery in any way. Otherwise, I mean, you can pretend, but eventually the castle is going to come crashing down. It doesn't matter. You can't outrun Abba, and he's righteous all the time. He will exact from you from what you've reaped. From what you've sown, you're going to reap. So the only way to forever is a bond of love, a unity with your wife, the wife of your youth. Well, guess what? The Most High, who is that righteous judge, who only deals in right ruling and truth, he has a wife too, and that's us, together in the wife of our youth. And we're committing adultery if we aren't in the wife of our youth, if we don't love her like we ought to. Like a husband, love your wife as you love yourself. For the Messiah also loved. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't love the wife of your youth, you're not who you say you are. You're not in that house that's going to stand the test of time. Your house is going to be wiped out. And it's only a matter of time. For jealousy enrages a man, and he does not spare in the day of vengeance. He ain't going to spare, and he's give us the time And there's a set time when, and he knows the day, when that day comes, whoever ain't in the house with the wife of their youth as his wife, just like we've been told, you're beat, you're done, you're dead. Capiche? He does not regard any ransom nor accept your bribe, however great. So whatever you tell him, if you say, but Lord, or if you say, we thought the rapture was, we thought all we had to do, no, there's no excuse. He's not going to listen to that. There's no excuse, because in his word was found the code to survive. And if you're not looking in it and with understanding, with a thirst for knowledge and truth, by humbling yourself, if you're not doing all that, you ain't going to see this code. You're only going to look as far as what you want, and which ain't far, because it conflicts with what you're doing. Because you're not seeking the truth. You're seeking validation for what you do, and you ain't going to find it unless what you do is loving the wife of your youth, Yerushalayim, the set apart land, returning to her and the Most High, just like this word says. My son, guard my words and treasure up my commands with you. Guard my commands and live, and my Torah as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding a close friend. To guard you against the strange woman, against the foreigner who flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and I saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths a young man lacking heart, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night, the night we're in. And look, a woman met him, dressed like a hoe, with a hidden heart. She was boisterous and stubborn. Her feet did not stay at her own house. Now in the street, now in the square, and at every corner she lurks. Now everywhere. And she took hold of him and kissed him. She hardened her face and said to him, slaughterings of peace offerings are with me. Today I have paid my vows. You see, that's your proof right there that this is a code. We're not talking about like a man, just a woman. We're not talking about, or he's not talking about how women can be or how men can be. That's not what he's talking about. But you can, if you're a child still eating, sucking from the teat, if you need correction on how to carry yourself and how to behave and not lie, not tell someone you're committed to them and commit adultery on them. No. When you're young, yeah, you need to learn from this word. But for those of us who are eating solid foods now, those adults here in the room, we understand that this is talking about the whore of Babylon. And yeah, like when Yasharal first started to fornicate with Babylon, what they did back then is the same thing people are doing today, but on steroids. I mean, that's not even a good enough analogy. It's beyond that. Supersonic Babylon fornication. That's what's going on. And the only way out is to the house. And if you just think about it for a second, you'll see that that's the only way. It's the only way in the time of the end. And that's why the house, that's how the Most High works. He's building a foundation for his wife, our wife, together in unity, because those who go there are going to want to serve that community. They're going to want to protect and serve that community, and loyalty won't be a question. This woman, this whore of Babylon, she's saying, slaughterings of peace offerings are with me. Today I have paid my vows. Therefore I came out to meet you, to earnestly seek your face, and I found you. I have spread my bed with coverings, colored linens of Mitzrayim, of money. I have sprinkled my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon, like the smell of home. Come, let us take our fill of carnal love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He took a bag of silver with him. He comes home on the day of the covering. The day of the covering. I think you know what day that is, right? That's the day of Passover, of Pesach. You see, these words before, when I read these, I knew it was telling me that I ought not hang out or fornicate with a promiscuous woman and all that. Yes, hallelujah for it. But I just thought it was, besides what it was trying to instruct me to do, I just thought it was just random nonsense. That it really, whoever wrote it wasn't that smart. That's what I thought back in the day. But now that I'm hungry, seeking, searching this word for understanding, using it to lamp and light my way, I see the reason that he put every word in here, and ain't none of it random. There ain't none of it just by chance, like I always say. He took a bag of silver with him. He comes home on the day of the covering. With her many words, she leads him astray. With her smooth lips, she seduces him. And just in case there's some of you who don't know about the silver, okay, Judas sold out Messiah for 30 pieces of silver. And not only that, it's spoken of throughout the word about the silver. And the enemy, the image of the beast, the whore of Babylon, it says that they display gold and silver, but it's actually only silver. And the Most High, when you come home, when you're in unity with your Creator and your brethren who you claim to be in union with, when you are in unity with them, living in marriage, holy, set apart matrimony, if that's you, there's nothing else other than that will interest you. You're not going to dabble with Babylon. But the reason she's decked out in the silver and the gold and the when it's describing her throughout the word, she's got the gold and the silver. That's because that's where people of faith believe they're refining themselves, or being refined by the word, by the Most High, like gold and silver. And just look at the rapture. Any whatever you want to call it, motto, theory, whatever, that motivates people's lives. Where did it come from? If you think you're just going to be good and die and go to heaven when you wake up or whatever, that's your gold, right? You plan on being refined in gold, right? Well, it's to her though, and it's not really gold or silver. You've been hoodwinked. You know, like those guys on the side of the road that want to sell you like a ring or something, pull up to you like at Walmart and try to sell you some ring, and you can tell that it's that fake Louis. That's what you've been sold. It's not real. There's only one way you get to be refined. You have to not only consider, you have to not only consider the wife of your youth, the marriage, the matrimony, you have to be in matrimony. Otherwise, that's why it's clear to everyone, and him especially. That's why he said that he considers everyone's paths. He knows that you're saying that one day you'll come home or whatever, but you really haven't put nothing, no words out, no action into actually coming home, thinking about it. You're fine and okay with the lies about it, and you're not even doing anything about it. You're not telling others this great news of the reign, of the secret of the Most High. So, and I'm not telling you this to beat you up. I'm trying to motivate you into seeing what you must do if you want to live. And not only that, seeing what you must do to be someone of resolve, to actually be who you claim to be. If you say you walk with the Most High, you have a relationship with Him, and you whatever, and hey, I'm happy for you that you do. But if you don't come all the way to matrimony, well, what does that mean? That tells you right there, you're not in matrimony. You're still getting some on the side. You can't. This house is built on a firm foundation. There is no side piece in this house. So the only way to come out of that and to be a team player and to be a family member of the kingdom of the Most High, you actually have to want that. You have to do that. You can't do that any other place but Yasharal. And if you are dead set on that place over there in the Middle East, it's on the news every day, if you're sold hook, line, and sinker that that's the place, well, you best get over there then, right? But let me give you a little update, a heads up. That ain't the place. That's the humiliation of her. That's Babylon, and that's the image of the beast. The city of Babylon, that's it. With her many words, she leads him astray. With her smooth lips, she seduces him. He goes after her immediately. Like an ox, he goes to the slaughter. And as in chains, a fool to the punishment. Till an arrow strikes through his liver, like a bird rushing into a snare, and did not know it would take his life. 23 again. Till an arrow strikes through his liver. An arrow, like lightning. Till the truth of you coming home, what I was just telling you, until that comes into your digestive system, until you start digesting that, you're going to be You're going, if you're not digesting it, you've rushed into a snare, and you did not know it would take your life. It's taking your life unless you start digesting this food about coming home. And now listen to me, you children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not go astray in her paths, for many are the wounded she has caused to fall, and numerous all her killed ones. You see now? Hopefully you're paying attention and you see that. That's that mark of the beast. That open, grievous wound that can be healed, but most people won't allow it to be healed. But you have all the power in your hand. But that power ain't going to last forever. And the time that you have it is almost up. And I can prove that to you. I can prove it. I can't prove to you when, what day, but I can prove to you that we ain't got much time left. It's gonna be here quick. I can tell you that. I can prove that to you. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the rooms of death. And it's just cut and dry, plain and simple. He's not gonna have to live with the thought of, well, maybe some of them people I just destroyed, maybe they were righteous enough. See, those questions are eliminated when doing it his way. His way says, if you really are a lover of me and you come down the aisle and you are my bride and you want to marry me in holy set apart matrimony, if that's you, you'll be here at the church, at the building, come the wedding time. You know you're the bride. You know what time to be there. If you're not there, then you didn't want to get married. You weren't serious about this. And you can try and work that around and make it fit to your agenda all you want, but the only thing that matters is if you're there come the wedding time, the wedding feast. If you ain't there, you're not married, and the door will be shut. The people, and during Noah's time, when they died in the flood, did they get a redo? They didn't, did they? Nope. The flood took them away, and they had their chance. And that now you have less of an excuse, and they didn't have any. You have less than that because you've been warned way more probably than they did. And you see it. You've seen all these wonders. You know what the Most High is capable of. You tell everyone what he's capable of. You talk about it. Well, it's time to be about it now. You have to be about it. Does not wisdom call and understanding lift up her voice? On the top of the heights along the way, between the paths she has taken her stand. Beside the gates leading to the city, at the entrance she shouts. There you go. And you want me to read that again? Does not wisdom call and understanding lift up her voice? Yes. You've had it more than maybe any generation has ever had. We've had the access to the truth at our fingertips. The only reason people ain't choosing this, the path to the city, is because whatever they're doing means more to them than the wedding supper. On the top of the heights along the way, between the paths she has taken her stand. Beside the gates leading to the city, at the entrance she shouts. O men, I call to you, and my voice is to the sons of men. You simple ones, understand insight, and you fools, be of an understanding heart. Listen, for I speak noble words, and the opening of my lips is about straightness. For my mouth speaks truth, and wrongness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, none of them twisted or crooked. All of them plain to him who understands, and straight to those who find knowledge. Accept my discipline, and not silver. You see? Not silver. And knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all delights are not comparable to her. I, wisdom, have dwelt with the insight, and I find knowledge, foresight. The fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil. I have hated pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Mightiness is mine. By me sovereigns reign, and rulers make righteous inscriptions. By me princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who earnestly seek me do find me. Riches and esteem are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold and fine gold, and my increase than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of right ruling, to bestow substance on those who love me. There you go, substance. And that's the truth. You can have your expectancy where you're going to go, if you're going to die or not. You can, it is of substance. You can take hold of it now. You don't have to wait. And you can't wait. If you wait, you ain't going to find it. To bestow substance on those who love me, and to fill their treasuries. Fill them. All the way up. It's you can't even count the reward, the wealth, how prosperous you're going to become if you can do this. It's not like like a building size full of gold. It's like the amount of it's you can't count it. So it's not like you're gonna be spending and doing, you know what I mean? It's just you are the ruler and reign. You rule and reign with the Most High in righteousness, in truth. The world is yours. But you only can take it by taking it. You can't just say you want it. Yahuwah possessed me, the beginning of his way, as the first of his works of old. Yahuwah possessed me, the beginning of his way, as the first of his works of old. I was set up ages ago, at the first, before the earth ever was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs heavy with water. Before mountains were sunk, before the hills I was brought forth, before he had made the earth and the fields, or the first dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he inscribed a circle on the face of the deep. Now, just to make sure that everyone understands, who's talking right here? I, wisdom. See that right there, verse 12. I, wisdom. This is wisdom talking. Who's saying this? That he was there. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he inscribed a circle on the face of the deep. When he set the clouds above. When he made the fountains of the deep strong. When he gave to the sea its law, so that the waters would not transgress his mouth. When he inscribed the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him, a master workman, and I was his delight day by day, rejoicing before him all the time. Rejoicing in the world, his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. And now listen to me, you children, for blessed are they who guard my ways. Listen to discipline and become wise, and do not refuse it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates. waiting at the post of my doors. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whoever finds me shall find life and obtain favor from Yahuwah. But he who sins against me injures himself. All who hate me love death. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out its 7 columns. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also prepared her table. She has sent out her young women. She cries out from the highest places of the city. Who is simple? Let him turn in here. As for him who lacks heart, she says to him, come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. Leave the simple ones and live, and walk in the way of understanding. He who reproves a scoffer gets shame for himself. He who rebukes a wrong one gets himself a blemish. Do not reprove a scoffer, lest he hate you. Reprove a wise one, and he loves you. Give instruction to a wise one, and he is wiser still. Teach a righteous one, and he increases in learning. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the set-apart one is understanding. For by me your days become many, and years of life are added to you. If you have become wise, you have become wise for yourself. And if you have scoffed, you alone bear it. A foolish woman is loud, simple, and without knowledge, for she has seated herself at the door of her house, on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Who is simple? Let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks heart, she says to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there. Her guests are in the depths of Sheol. There's more. Now you see more. Now it's just showing you even more. Every verse should tell you who we're talking about. But that, just in case you got thinking you were forgetting that this was talking about the whore of Babylon, he likes to wake you back up like a teacher in class, slap your desk and wake you up when you're over there drooling. That's what he does when he says verses like this, when he says, who is simple? Let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks heart, she says to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Just your average, everyday, adulterous woman who's trying to seduce you, they're not going to say stolen waters are sweet. What's she even talking about, right? Is she a lunatic? Adulterous lady? Oh, great. A psycho? A psychotic one? Probably, but this is talking about the hoe of Babylon. That's what she says to whoever is simple and lacks heart. And they go to her to eat that bread in secret. They don't know it's their end. Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a father rejoice, but a foolish son is his mother's sorrow. Treasures of wrongness are of no value, but righteousness delivers from death. Yahuwah does not let the being of the righteous go hungry, but he thrusts away the desire of the wrong. The poor is he who works with a lazy hand, but the hand of the hard worker makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. What time is it right now? It's harvest time. Are you sleeping? Do you want that reward, that expectation, your deliverance, your life? Do you want it? Well, you have to work for it. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wrong. The remembrance of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wrong ones rot. The wise in heart accepts commands, but one with foolish lips fall. He who walks in integrity walks safely, but he who perverts his ways becomes known. He who winks with the eye causes sorrow, and one with foolish lips falls. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wrong. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all transgressions. Love. Love. Do you love the Most High and your brethren and matrimony, the marriage? Well, if you do, you have to come home. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's common sense, right? Everyone understands that you got to be at home in the marriage making it work if you want it to work. You can't just stay over at Isabella's house, the adulterous woman. You're going to find yourself in Sheol. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks heart. He's going to judge you with he's going to rule you with a rod of iron. The wise treasures up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool is near ruin. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The ruin of the poor is their poverty. The wage of the righteous is for life. The increase of the wrong is for sin. He who heeds discipline is in the way of life, but he who refuses reproof goes astray. So anyone who's refusing this, anyone who's refusing the command that you have to go home to Jerusalem, do that which is continual, to be at the wedding supper, to make it at the wedding feast, to live. If you disagree with that, you're just refusing the truth. This is letting you know. He's letting you know what you have to stop doing and what you have to do. He who hides hatred has lying lips, and he who sends out a slander is a fool. Then when words are many, transgression is not absent, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wrong is of little value. The lips of the righteous shepherd many, but fools die for lack of heart. The blessing of Yahuwah makes one rich, and he adds no pain with it. To work out wicked schemes is like sport to a fool, but wisdom is for a man of understanding. What the wrong one fears comes upon him, but the desire of the righteous is granted. As the whirlwind passes by, the wrong one is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the lazy one to those who send him. The fear of Yahuwah prolongs days, but the years of the wrong ones are shortened. The righteous look forward to joy, but the expectancy of the wrong ones perish. The wrong ones. The way of Yahuwah is a stronghold for the perfect, but ruin to the workers of wickedness. The righteous is never shaken, while the wrong shall not dwell in the earth. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the tongue of perverseness is cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is pleasing, but the mouth of the wrong speaks perverseness. A false scale is an abomination to Yahuwah, but a perfect weight is his delight. A false scale, and there's any way you want to chop that up. Let Abba slice and dice you. Put what you desire on the scale. Do you desire to come home to Jerusalem, to be in unity, in matrimony with your brethren and the Most High in Jerusalem, in Yasharal, the land? If you do, well, what's that way? How's it fare on the scale compared to what you're doing? If you say you want all those things, but it's completely outweighing, breaking the scale, because there ain't nothing over on the you doing anything for that side. It's a false scale. It's an abomination. But a perfect weight is his delight. Pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the straight ones guides them, but the slipperiness of the treacherous destroys them. The treacherous. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. And righteousness just means you doing what's right. If you get questions, if you get the answers right on a test, were you being better than someone else when you got them right? I mean, most people, when they hear righteousness, they act like someone's trying to be, and they do, people do that, but that's not what the Most High is wanting you to do. He's just wanting you to answer correctly. That's what he wants. Just put down the right answer, because the goal is to succeed, right? Victory? Yes. He just wants you to put down the right answer. The right answer is you have to go home. The right answer is the set-apart land that you have to return to. It's not that place that we've been told it is. And you have to go there now. You can't wait. The righteousness of the perfect makes his way straight, but by his own wrongness the wrong one falls. The righteousness of the straight ones delivers them, but the treacherous are caught by greed in that snare. When a wrong man dies, expectancy perishes, and the ambition of the wicked shall be lost. The righteous is delivered from distress, and the wrong one takes his place. The defiled one destroys his neighbor with his mouth, but the righteous is delivered by knowledge. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices, and when the wrong perish, there is shouting. The only way you can be righteous, the only way you can rejoice, the only way you'll be righteous and prosperous is in the city. By the blessing of the straight, the city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wrong, it is overthrown. There you go. Bingo. By the blessing of the straight, the city is exalted. And just, you know, that's the reason the Messiah went to Jerusalem and he gave up his life for his friends. That's why he did that, and for the Most High. He did it there. He went there. That's why they laid the palm trees and everything out. And there's a reason he went on the foal of a donkey, on a colt, because it don't matter what you have. It doesn't matter if all you have is an old Datsun or something. Get in that baby, or get on the side of the road and hitchhike, however it is you got to do it. But chances are you probably could fly here first class, couldn't you? You see, it's so convenient for you now. And you can just take it. You can have your substance, your ecstasy of substance. You don't have to wait. You don't have to guess. You don't have to roll the dice. All you need to do is go. But by the mouth of the wrong it is overthrown. He who lacks heart despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding keeps silence. A slanderer is a revealer of secrets, but one with a trustworthy spirit conceals a matter. Without guidance the people fall, but in a great counselor there is safety. In a great counselor there is safety. He who is guarantor for a stranger suffers harm, but one who hates shaking hands in pledge is safe. Now you see what that means? Don't shake hands with the rapture theory or whatever it is, whatever your expectancy is. Don't pledge your allegiance to a pastor or a church and you say, well, I can't leave this church. That's a pledge. If you don't come home, you've made a pledge with Babylon, with whatever. A woman showing favor obtains esteem, but ruthless men obtain riches. A lovingly committed man is rewarding his being, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. The wrong one earns false wages, but the one sowing righteousness a true reward. There you go, a true reward. The wrong one earns false wages. If you're doing it wrong, if you're getting the questions wrong on the test, you might think you're getting wages for your labor, but you're not. You're not. Thus righteousness leads to life, and one pursuing evil to his own death. The perverse of heart are an abomination to Yahuwah, but the perfect in the way are his delight. Hand to hand the evil one does not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall escape. Like a ring of gold in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman who lacks good sense. The desire of the righteous is only good. The expectancy of the wrong is wrath. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and one who withholds more than is right, but it comes to poverty. The generous being is enriched, and he who waters is also watered himself. The people curse him who withhold grain, but blessing is on the head of him who sells it. He who earnestly seeks good seeks what is pleasing, but to him who seeks evil, it comes to him. He who trusts in his riches falls, but the righteous flourish like a leaf. He who troubles his own house inherits wind, and the fool is servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who is winning lives. He who is winning lives is wise. See, the righteous in the earth shall be rewarded. How much more the wrong and the sinner? Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. The good obtains favor from Yahuwah, but the man of wicked devices he declares wrong. A man is not established by wrongness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. A capable wife is the crown of her husband, the crown. But one causing shame is like rottenness in his bones. Causing shame. If you're out committing adultery and you're not with the wife of your youth, and yes, we all did it, but you can be forgiven. You can turn it around. You just have to return to the wife of your youth. Don't delay. Otherwise, you're wrong. The thoughts of the righteous are right ruling. The counsels of the wrong are deceit. The words of the wrong are lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the straight delivers them. The wrong are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous stands. A man is praised according to his wisdom, but the perverted of heart becomes despised. Better to be lightly esteemed and have a servant than be highly esteemed who lacks bread. The righteous regards the life of his beast, but the compassion of the wrong is cruelty. He who tills his land is satisfied with bread, but he who pursues vanities is lacking heart. The wrong shall covet the catch of evildoers, but the root of the righteous yields fruit. In the transgression of the lips is an evil snare, but the righteous gets out of his distress. From the fruit of his mouth one is filled with good, and the work of a man's hand is given back to him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who listens to advice is wise. A fool's wrath is known at once, but a clever one covers shame. He who speaks truth declares righteousness, but a false witness deceit. Rash speaking is like piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is healing. The lip of truth is established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who plot evil, but counselors of peace have joy. No harm befalls the righteous, but the wrong shall be filled with evil. Lying lips are an abomination to Yahuwah, but those who deal truly are his delight. A clever man is concealing knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaim folly. The hand of the hard worker rules, but the lazy is put to compulsory labor. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes him glad. The righteous is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wrong leads them astray. The lazy one has no game to roast, but the hard worker prizes his possessions. In the way of righteousness is life, and in its pathway there is no death. There's no death. Why do you think it said the lazy one has no game to roast, but the hard worker prizes his possessions? It wasn't just random. It wasn't just, they didn't just think of something to put on there. There's only one time you're permitted to roast meat by the Most High. And that's at Passover, because if you roast the meat, it sears the myoglobin and the hemoglobin into the blood. You can't get it out. It's just how it is. It's the rules, you know. You can't, it just won't come out of there. And this is scientifically proven. You can go find this information anywhere. You can find the truth, but you got to seek for it. The only way to get the blood all the way out of meat is to boil, seethen, or sodden. That's in water, because it don't singe, it don't sear in the blood. It relaxes it, opens it up, and the blood comes out like water. That's why the Most High says, dump it out like water, the blood. Don't eat the blood with the meat. Don't eat it. The lazy one has no game to roast. You'll be lazy. You're lazy if you ain't came to Jerusalem for Passover to roast your game. But the hard worker prizes his possessions. Now let me read the verse of the day to you before I go show you this other information I have for you. Psalms 100 verse 2. Serve Yahuwah with gladness, come before his presence with singing. Oops. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. Raise a shout for Yahuwah, all the earth. Serve Yahuwah with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that Yahuwah, he is the mighty Most High. He has made us, and we are his people and the sheep of his pasture. If you're his people and you're his sheep, you're in his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For Yahuwah is good. His loving commitment is everlasting, and his truth to all generations. I sing of loving commitment and right ruling to you, O Yahuwah. I sing praises. I act wisely in a perfect way. When do you come to me? I walk in the midst of my house with a perfect heart. I set no matter of Belial before my eyes. I hate the work of those who fall away. It does not cleave to me. A perverse heart turns away from me. I do not know evil. Him who secretly slanders his neighbor I cut off. I do not tolerate one who has a haughty look and a proud heart. My eyes are on the trustworthy of the land, to dwell with me. He who walks in a perfect way, he serves me. He who practices deceit does not dwell in my house. He who speaks lies does not stand in my presence. Each morning I uproot all the wrong of the land, to cut off all the workers of wickedness from the city of Yahuwah. O Yahuwah, hear my prayer and let my cry come to you. Do not hide your face from me in the day of my distress. Incline your ear to me in the day I call. Answer me speedily. For my days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned like a hearth. My heart is stricken and withered like grass, for I have forgotten to eat my bread. Forgotten. Because of the sound of my sighing, my bones have cleaved to my flesh. I have been like a pelican of the wilderness. I have been like an owl of the desert. I have watched. I am as a bird alone on the housetop. On the housetop. My enemies reproach me all day long. Those who rave against me have sworn against me. For I have eaten ashes like bread and mixed my drink with tears. Because of your displeasure and your wrath, for you have lifted me up and thrown me down. My days are like a shadow that lengthens, and I wither away like grass. But you, O Yahuwah, shall be enthroned forever, and the remembrance of you be to all generations. You yourself shall arise and have compassion on Sion, for the time to favor her, the appointed time has come. For your servants have been pleased with her stones, and they favor her dust. Don't get no plainer than that. For the nations shall fear the name of Yahuwah, and all the sovereigns of the earth your esteem. For Yahuwah shall build up Sion, he shall appear in his esteem. He shall appear in his esteem. Are you seeing him? Have you seen him? Because if you had, you would be home. You would be pleased with her stones, and you would favor her dust. Yes, you would. That'd be the only dust you would want to dwell in. The only place, the only soil you would want to dwell would be your true home. He shall turn unto the prayer of the destitute, and he shall not despise their prayer. This is written for a generation to come, so that a people to be created praise Yah. For he looked down from the height of his set-apart place. From heaven Yahuwah viewed the earth, to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to release those appointed to death, to declare the name of Yahuwah in Sion, and his praise in Jerusalem. That's why. When peoples gather together and reigns to serve Yahuwah, he has humbled my strength in the way. He has shortened my days. I said, O my El, do not take me away in the midst of my days. Your years are throughout all generations. You did found the earth of old, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They shall perish, but you remain, and all of them grow old like a garment. You change them like a coat, and they are changed. But you are the same, and your years have no end. The sons of your servants continue, and their seed is established before you. All right, here's these, I'm going to show you these few things I wanted to show you. When I showed you guys this article about Star Trek, the Mirror series, the Mirror Universe or whatever, I forgot to point out this sword in the earth, going through the earth, and it's on their chest. These in this episode, I guess, and all of the Star Treks have done it. They do episodes where it's like they call it the Mirror Universe. I'll show you here in a second. But in this episode, the original Spock and Captain whatever his name is, Captain Kirk, they wake up, Scotty goes to beam them up like normal onto the ship, and they end up in some other dimension, in the mirror dimension, and they're on a ship that looks like their ship, but it's called something else, and it's biblical, and they see Spock and like they're doppelgangers of themselves, and like they're the complete opposite. They're jackasses, and instead of having a triangle on their shirt, whatever, I can't remember what that was called in Star Trek, but instead of that, they have a sword through an earth instead. See it up there on Captain Kirk's chest, on his right side of his chest. And see the star right here on the door? Right behind there. Right behind where I just was. Right there. See it? That's what Babylon has done. That's believing the rapture theory. It's killing everybody. Or whatever theory. The only way to life, I can't stress it enough, is coming home. The true journey is in returning. Yes. See that down here, the Mirror Universe Saga, and all kinds of stories. Like I said, damn near every story, almost every movie. Like, not every movie. There's movies out there that are about other things, but like all the mainline movies, like all these, and just so much. It's insane how much of it's in there. See how they're the same lady there in that picture? They're the same captains in this whole other Star Trek series. Jake, down here at the bottom, Jake is overwhelmed by meeting his mother's doppelganger. Remember, I've read a couple stories where there's a man who's overwhelmed by meeting his mother's doppelganger. I've read you a couple of those stories. Mother Earth is who this is talking about. And Jake, why else would his name be Jake? And mostly thinks it's just the most awesome thing ever. And most Jake does, don't they? Cisco expresses concern that Jake's already got the three of them living together. I guess I must have missed that. Skipped that part. But you could see what's going on. Mother Earth, Babylon has convinced you that here I am. It's a decoy. It's like if you hunt, people put like deer decoys in their yard or turkey decoys to get or ducks to get ducks to fly in because they think that one's there. The enemy has made, or the Most High has made, the image of the beast to fool you, and you think, oh, there's my mother, that's her, and it's not. And look here, one of these, a novel that you can't get to because it's in red, so I couldn't find it, but it's called The Mere-Scaled Serpent. Yes, The Mere-Scaled Serpent. And that's what this is. That's what's going on. You're never going to believe who you're in bed with right now. When you wake up, either way, you're never going to believe it. But hopefully you realize it soon and you get out of her. Because if you wake up when it's too late and you realize it then, that's how all the shame comes about. I talked to you guys about the show Twin Peaks. Let me read a little more of this. I skipped through this too quick the last time I talked to you. I hope you've had your ears on this whole time, and I hope you leave them on. This is huge. Although the Red Room, and this is from the plot of Twin Peaks. It was a television show that aired back in like the 80s or 90s or something. And this is the plot from it. Although the Red Room began exclusively as a location with Agent Dale Cooper's dreams, the inhabitants began appearing in other locations in the town, inciting other elements in the plot, to the point where the Red Room and White Black Lodge stories became one. After discovering a mysterious map in Alcave, it becomes evident to Earl and Cooper, both independently and with different motivations for wanting to visit it, that the entrance to the Black Lodge is located in Ghostwood Forest, which surrounds the town of Twin Peaks, at a pool of a substance that smells like scorched engine oil and surrounded by 12 young sycamore trees. This area is known as Glastonbury Grove. It's surrounded by 12 sycamore trees, just like on I Pet Goat 2. When the bride is kneeling on the black and white checkered floor, the 12 little blue children that are wrapped in barbed wire fence, that are all sad and just lifeless, that's what this is explaining. At the place of the skull, Golgotha, the area is known as Glastonbury Grove. It is said that the key to gain entrance to the Black Lodge is fear, usually an act of brutal murder. The key to gain entrance into the Black Lodge is fear. That's the key. If you're afraid, if you ain't home in the matrimony with the wife of your youth, you were afraid, or you chose whatever. You're a brutal murder. This is in contrast to the key to the White Lodge, which is love. Another requirement to enter the Black Lodge was when Jupiter and Saturn meet, when they come together in the sky. When the above requirements are met and one approaches the pool in Glastonbury Grove, red curtains appear, which the person walks between before the curtains vanish once again. Now, there was a couple other things too that I've been wanting to that I wanted to remember to tell you. This here, I was just taking a picture, I was looking at this article, about the new movie Civil War coming up, right? New modern Civil War movie pits Colorado against Western states, and isn't it ironic that Colorado just the day after this was out, or not long, that it was on the news that Colorado is barring Trump from being on the presidential ballot for them, and how many other states are going to go with them, and what does that even mean? I don't know, but it's just ironic, I thought. But I don't want to read this article to you. I just want to look at this picture. I thought it was cool how they got it, whatever that is, 3D, all the mountains and stuff raised up. And I want you to look at America. And this is coming. You know what's coming to America. Just look at it. Look at look how wide it is and just flat it is, right? All over here, all in that area. Just white and flat, right? Now look, just as far as fortress goes, protection, just thinking of you being in a place where you would be protected. Where in all of America looks the safest to you? Where does it look the safest? It's definitely not out in here, right? Definitely, because all they got to do is land here, whatever, and they're here on your ass. Florida, you might as well forget it. You're done. Well, to me, wouldn't it be to you to be in the middle of these mountains? In the middle of them, in this perfect little pocket? This perfect little pocket here in the middle, right there, where that water is, that body of water. See it right there? And on this map, you can't see the face real good because the mountains are raised up and they're, they're covering part of it. But you can still see the outline of the face right there. I can't. Right here. And you can see that he's looking right at that little circle right here that's in the middle of all these mountains. There's mountains all over here, all around, like awesome, like, could you imagine if people had to like walk through Yosemite, like Yellowstone, to get here with all the grizzly bears, and just it's surrounded. And when you talk to the people here, they tell you that for some reason, and they just say strange reason, and I've had a bunch of them tell me this. They say that bears don't come on this side of the mountains in the bowl, that they stay on the other side for some strange reason. Yeah. And they say that about, I've heard a few of them say that about mountain lions too, that they very rarely come to this side, that they stay over on the other side. And look, you got all those mountains with that face looking at you, all those mountains surrounding you in this circle where this big body of water is. It's like paradise. And then look at all that protection you have. And these are the highest mountains out here on the front side of this. So if someone wanted to come take over Jerusalem, if they landed here, they'd have to come all the way across here, right? And then they got to come across the biggest, these mountains, these 14ers, they call them. They're 14,000 feet tall, generally. And anywhere else, any direction you come from, it's not going to be easy for you to get there. And if there's a fortified group of people living in that pocket, most people would never get to that pocket unless they're flying in here. But if it was down to like walking and stuff, they would never make it. They just ain't gonna go through the trouble to get all the way out there. It's the only place. I mean, and it all makes sense. It all makes sense perfect to the one who loves. I've said this before, that this is the only place in the world, like wherever you can, just name any place you want to in the world besides here. Name any place, and let's think about how life will be if the shit hits the fan and everyone starts, like chaos ensues. What you're going to be dealing with. Are there going to be any gangsters around anywhere with guns, like violent people that you already know right now, with the way things are right now? They will steal from you, lie to you, cheat on you, injure you. If it comes down to you or them, it's you. They're going to run your ass over and kill you. Is there a lot of those type of people around in any place of the world that you can pick? Well, this is the only place I know that I can think of where the whole state, basically, that whole circle is nothing but people. Yeah, they're led astray too. They're in Babylon, but these are people who make sure their shirt's tucked in at all times, and they want to be the best Christian Latter-day Saints they can be. That's what you have to deal with. And in the event that chaos ensues, you're going to have to worry about someone offering you too much, offering you a room to sleep in and too much food. You'll have to worry about who should you go with in the apocalypse that's willing to give you their shirt off of their back. That is what you'll have to compete with. Abba has whipped it perfectly up into shape for us to get us to our substance, our expectancy. And I was thinking of that, and I remembered something that I kind of mentioned it about. I kind of mentioned it when I mentioned the 14 points speech by Woodrow Wilson. I briefly touched on it, but there's something else I want to show you. I want to add to that, to what I told you about the 14 points and what happened in Morocco, what was in Woodrow Wilson's speech. And you can see up there at top, it says U.S. President Woodrow Wilson. The United States had joined the triple entity in fighting the Central Powers on April 6, 1917. Its entry into the war had in part been due to Germany's resumption of submarine warfare against merchant ships trading with France and Britain, and also the interception of the Zimmermann telegram. Now, I clicked on the Zimmermann telegram. Check this out. I did not know this. You guys might have known this. I didn't know this happened. The Zimmermann telegram was a secret diplomatic communication issued from the German Foreign Office in January 1917 that proposed a military alliance between the German Empire and Mexico if the U.S. entered World War I against Germany. With Germany's aid, Mexico would recover Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. The telegram was intercepted by British intelligence. So someone sent a telegram from Germany, someone in the German government to Mexico, and said, hey, if America jumps into war with us in World War I, me and you, we're going to invade their homeland, and if you help me, I'll give you Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. That was originally yours in the first place. And you can see the red line. It says that where the red line is, that was the original Mexican territory. Not the original, but before white men came, you know? So that's where all this sprang from. That's where World War I, that's how it started, partly. If you go read what happened, what Woodrow Wilson did and everything because of this, you'll see how that is what all this has been about. Ever since ever since the Most High kicked his children out because they were sleeping with the neighbor's wife. He kicked them out when they went to Babylon. From there, almost all of Yasharal has turned to Babylon completely, sold their soul. And the land, they would never tell us where the land is. You got to find the truth, but you can, because Abba don't leave you out here hanging high and dry. But they're not going to tell you where it is. They're going to tell you a decoy, give you a decoy and say, here I am. And that is a trap, a fool's trap. It's for a fool. You have to wake up and you have to go to the true set apart land, because that's where the Most High's wing is. If you want to abide under its shadow and live, you have to be under its shadow. You have to come here. If you go read that, all the information around the 14 points, you'll see that it was all about colonizing, to stop colonizing, and it was about like granting the UN, it was meant, that speech and all that was the start of them, they say, building the UN, the League of Nations, in order to protect innocent people from psycho armies around the world. And that it said that they, in the law or whatever that was passed, it's a law for international, for the world, that a group of people who ask the UN for sovereignty, to be granted sovereignty, to be deemed their own entity, their own country, the UN has to grant them that. And that they don't, they're sovereign. They don't have to follow any state or country's laws as long as it doesn't interfere with them. It's huge. And in the Thunderbolts, the main character, his name's Helmut, and he's got like a German last name. Helmut means William, or William means Helmut. In his bio or whatever, that character, Helmut Zemo or whatever, and towards the end of his like bio, you'll see that one of his things that he did was he convinced the UN to give him and his buddies, the Thunderbolts or whoever it was, sovereignty because of self-determination. And self-determination is that's what his Woodrow Wilson's 14 points speech was all about. I guess I got it blocked out down here, but at the bottom left you'll see determination. And it was against any secret treaty, secret agreements, you know what I'm saying? So all those things are huge in understanding what it is you must do. Because look, Utah is originally Mexico's territory. And if Mexico's doing the smashing with people, the whole world is ready to topple the people that's ruined it, the people that they feel have ruined the world and robbed them, whatever. That's why it says in Revelations that the Most High gives them the same mind. He stirs them up to do this for him. And then when they're done, they're going to be like, oh shoot, why'd we do that? Now no one's buying our stuff. But that's what's going to happen. And that's why it says the land of the Kasdim, the land of the Ketim, will be destroyed. So I got a clip I'm going to play here for you. And then I'm out right now. I'm going to leave you with this clip and leave you with this question. Are you serious about this relationship, about this wedding supper? Is there anything that you can think of that you would rather be a part of? Is there anything that you can think of that's worth you losing? This matrimony, this relationship that lasts forever? There shouldn't be. Wake up.
Try the radio. What is this? I don't know. Shit. Hang on. Stay on my ass!
out of here while you still can. Go,
Okay,
now!
let's go.
Go!
No! Come on! No!
Jed, go!
Jed, we gotta get Erica. Where? Next right. Hold on! Erica. Erica! Ready? Shit!
Yeah, but it's right!
Come on! Come on! Jump in!
No, it's my son! It's my son, it's just the boys, okay? They're just boys! 여기 기다려! 시작하고 있어! 시작하고 있어! What do we do?
Just follow us! Come on! Jed,
I know, I see it.
shit. Come on! Go! Yes!
Don't think that they don't. Everything that they do isn't on purpose. These movies, they've been telling us what we have to do. If you go watch the trailer for that, go watch some of it, you'll see. Look at the symbology, the symbolism, and listen to the message. The code is telling you. It's the same thing the word is telling you. They put it in these movies because of rules of engagement. They program everyone and dilute everyone and turn them wicked with this stuff. But at the same time, they have to put the truth in there, and it's decoded. So it either destroys you or it helps to heal you. And it is all derived from the word. And all you got to do is come home and obey. Get home. I love you. Get on your face. Give all praise, all honor, all glory, and all esteem to Abba Yahuwah, the Most High, our wonderful Creator, our righteousness today.